Brandy Davison here. I'm really excited for this process video today. I have the absolute honor of being the guest designer with Peartree Cutfiles. This is a brand new shop out of the UK by just a dear crafty friend, Mary Hurst, and it is literally a month old. She will launch the shop on August 1st, so really excited here. I am playing today with one of her cut files that immediately caught my eye, and it's called Heart in Circles. And you saw it there in the background, and it's just a cascade of kind of a circle grid almost with different size hearts cut out. So excited to play with that today. So before coming onto camera, I cut the Heart in Circles cut file in Simple Stories wood background. Like they've got the collections that's just like a bunch of different wood backgrounds. I cut it in that. Kind of going for a sort of rusticy sort of look is what I'm thinking. And then I printed this photograph of my husband and I, in COVID beard and all for my husband, 4 times in 2x3. So I have one of those selfie printers. So I just chose the 4-up layout for those of you who might have one and chose it 4 times. I do like a repeated photo on a page, either in a black and white in a color or a sepia in a color or something, or just straight up repeated photo. So I'm not sure why, but it definitely catches my eye, and I just love this photo, so it seemed like a good opportunity. So what I've pulled out here is the P13 Soulmate collection. So this is a new to me collection company out of Poland. And I, of course, had to buy up all the goodies when I saw them as soon as I saw that deep navy background color, or the deep navy in the collection. So I've gone through the papers I have from them, and I've just auditioned all of them and determined that between the blue map kind of look and this blue sort of distressed watercolor look, that it definitely looks best on this darker one. I want the cut file to be the focal point here, so I don't want to take away from it in any way with a busy background. So here I am. I'm just auditioning some of the other pieces from the kit. I've got a bunch of the phrase stickers. I have some of the tags, all that good stuff. So just going through and seeing what works for me. So first off, out of the gate, I am going to back the cut file, which you will see later that I changed my mind about, but anyway, it's fine. So I've decided to just back just the biggest hearts in the Heart in Circles. I think you can see that there's 4 of them. And one of my favorite papers from this whole collection, the P13 collection, is in fact the inside of the packaging of the tags and the phrase stickers. So I just went ahead and cut a piece of that. This is legitimately the little piece of cardboard with the advertising on it that comes in the pack with the ephemera. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm going to back it with that, and then I am going to just go through the rest of the kit. And these tags, I don't know if I'd use them. Like, I'd use them as circles, but sort of what I had left, I didn't know how to use. And so I thought, oh, if they were just big enough for that circle, they could also back one of these hearts for me. So that's what I've done, is I've taken another scrap piece of paper from the kit. I've taken a couple of those tags and I've turned them into backing the heart cut files. And I did that off camera. You'll see me cut the back of that one there, but super, super easy. You know, put some tape or put some glue around the shape that you want backed, plop that shape down onto the color you want showing through, and then cut around the edges. Let it dry for a bit so it doesn't slip. So here I am with these 4 photos, and I was originally going to get rid of 2, maybe just go with 3. I don't know, there's something about, design elements in 3, but I love a 4. And so I decided to, instead of doing a cascade down the circles as I originally intended, I'm just going to put them side by each like this, and then you'll see that I do end up in fact using both of these sort of identical film strip looking pictures, if you will. I do go through, I'm looking again for that rustic look, right? So the distressor little tool comes out, and I just gave a quick edge to these. I didn't go too crazy with distressing. They're already glued down and I didn't want to wreck the photos, but I also didn't want it to look too rough and tumble. And I've just decided to take the 2 film strips, if you will, and put them one on each, and then just kind of tilt them a little bit so you can sort of see that there's a second set coming in the background there. So this is me. Apologies, I'm a little bit off camera. I am just cutting with my fussy cutting scissors. I use a set of Tim Holtz scissors. They're super tiny. You can see how small the little scissor is there, but it's they're super sharp and they're really good for fussy cutting. And I've just gone around and I've just cut off the excess paper where I've backed the cut files. And I'm going to throw some pattern paper behind the photos. I'm going to focus on the top layer so it really pops off, and then sort of that the back two photos will really kind of serve as just another layer. Just kind of thinking of that way, a little bit of extra texture and brings in some more of the black and white. So that's me again using the packaging from I think that was from the phrase stickers, to back my files. It's this great kind of messy wide gray stripe or gray paper with a thin white stripe, however you want to look at it. And I just absolutely love it. So happy to bring that into this, especially with the black and white photos. So, and this is me. That's another paper from the Soulmate collection. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh my gosh. I look at it now and I'm like, how did I cut a 12 by 12 to do that? But anyway, it's fine. You got to use what you got, and you got to use it while you love it before you don't love it. And so I'm, just trying to get better at just using the supplies that bring me joy, and that paper definitely brings me joy. So I'm going to cut the branding strip off this guy. I try really hard to do that before I get gluing and such, because there's nothing worse than when you realize your page is done and you have to cut off the branding strip, which I can never do if I can't put it in my paper trimmer. So I know there's a few designers out there that I watch on YouTube that leave the branding strip until the end, kind of like as a final completion. It's all I can look at. It makes me crazy. I'm just so worried that they're going to wreck their page when they go and cut it. So I'm just looking through a few things. I have quite a few papers left of this collection, but I don't have I don't have any of the ephemera that goes with it. So I'm kind of looking through these stickers to see what I can kind of turn into ephemera or die cuts for myself, as well as I'll go through my scraps of paper. So the Soulmate collection is a wedding collection. So lots of the phrases are like my husband, my wife, I do forever, on this day, very wedding focused, but some of them are not, like together, forever, just my type kind of thing. So I'm just picking through to those that kind of make sense, that aren't super wedding, but still, I could still be a little romantic because it is me in the house. So yeah. So I found those couple of tags. Those were stickers. Moved them around a few times, but they actually do end up staying where they are right now. So that's kind of nice. Usually I move things around 6, 7, 8 times, not just 3 times. So I'm pretty impressed with myself there. And then there was this big wide sticker. It kind of looks like a wood panel that was in the kit. And it says, and I forgot my page, so I'll have to show you at the end. But it's just got a 2-line phrase on it. And I just didn't like how wide it was. So I just cut it apart. I turned it into actual phrase strips. Easy peasy, right? So if you've got pocket life cards, big stickers, paper that you just want small elements on, do it. Cut it. Absolutely do it. So one of the things that bugged me when I was doing this is I didn't like the backed hearts. Now that I'm looking at it while voicing over this video, I think they look fine, but I didn't love them. I loved the wood grain that I had cut the cut file in, and I felt like the backed hearts are sort of taking away from the file. I wanted the focus to be on the shape of the file. So I went through, and you can see here I kept some of the negative from the cut file just on my Cricut sheet there. I went through and I found the big hearts that were cut out, and I just popped them up and put them back up. So when you look at the page, and you might be able to see it in the stills, it's a little bit hard in the pictures, but when you look at the page, it looks like a solid heart, but as you turn the page, you're going to see sort of a pop of white or a pop of cream or a pop of that stripe behind it, which I think looks really cool. So it worked out really well, but I definitely like them better as the wood grain. I wanted kind of hearts and circles to be the point of the page. I didn't want those backed different colored hearts to sort of steal the show. I wanted the sort of the lattice of the continuous hearts and circles background to sort of be center stage here. So putting things back, I do play with where I put my phrase stickers quite a few times. I'm so sorry. I don't think they end up there, actually, if I look at the end result. But we've all done this, so I just leave this kind of stuff in here. Hopefully that's okay. It's so good to see that, you're not the only one that moves things 4 times and then, maybe goes and grabs a coffee and comes back, or even comes back the next day and then moves them 4 times and then probably ends up sticking them down in the very spot you had them in first. So it's a thing. It's a real thing. I'm going through now. There's a phrase sheet as part of this collection, and the one thing that I do when I'm working with stickers is I just put them on white cardstock. I always have a little pile of tiny little scraps, too small to mat a photo with, and I just keep a little pile beside me, and then I put the sticker down and then I cut it out. I fussy cut it out. You could use embossing powder, those little anti-static bags on the back, or baby powder to take the stick out of it, or even if you have a sweater on, stick it to yourself a couple times. is I really like to be able to move things around the page, so I don't want to immediately stick a sticker down. So that's why I do it. I also find it does give a little bit of dimension and structure to the sticker. So even when I've known, like, I'm absolutely putting this sticker here, I still go ahead and back it and then glue it down. So I don't know, it's a thing. I don't think I'm the only one. I know my sister, at least, who's a scrapbooker, does it, but yeah, I do it pretty much every time, unless it's like the final phrase stickers on a page. So, but even then, probably, I probably do it most of the time. So, yeah. So the what I did there, sorry, while I was chatting about backing stickers, is there is this amazing floral. You can kind of see it off to the right there in this collection. It is absolutely to die for. Like, it is like the ideal rustic wedding floral in the world. And I fussy cut it. So while this is a picture of us playing golf, I do think just the poking out of the flowers, like, not really bringing the wedding to it, maybe more bringing like the, we're out in a park or a golf course and kind of nature. And there's just something about, I don't know, like, look at that, leaves poking out the side, like a botanical look with wood grain is just so fantastic. So yeah, so those end up staying there. I do keep those into the layout. I'm going to audition a few more things. Ignore my little scrap of paper there. Just trying to bring in some stuff. There's the cut aparts from the collection. I thought I might be able to fussy cut something there. I'm just looking to tuck a few more things here. I just feel like it needs something else. So that's what I'm going to do here for a little bit. I do find this really cool kind of square sticker and from the collection, and it's got a saying on it, and some of the letters in the saying are like a wood grain. If you have, I think it's, if you have love, you have everything, or if you found your love, you have everything, something like that. So I really liked the look of it. I thought it went well with the page, but I'm not convinced on the shape, being that I've kind of got this elongated lattice. I've got these, elongated film strips, and then I went to go put these two squares on there, and it just wasn't resonating. Again, as happens when you voice over a video, I think that looks just fine. I could have totally stopped there, but why would you at 2 a.m. as you're creating for your guest spot with Peartree Crafts and wanting to make the best thing ever in the world because you're just so excited for Marie. So, I overthought it, of course. So I think I end up ditching both of those. You can see them off to the top there, and then I go through the phrase stickers again. So just looking for a little bit more white to bring into the page, just a slight bit. It is pretty dark, because of the background, and I'm using kind of mostly dark elements, but I like that, but I think just a couple of white phrases would be really good here. So I grabbed these two, and I do cut them down a little bit. They are on the thicker side, like there's a little much too much white space. They look a bit more like a sticker than a phrase sticker. So I cut those down a little bit. I do my classic, put them on cardstock. I've just got my fussy cutting scissors there. Sorry, I pull stuff really close to me when I'm fussy cutting. I need to lean forward or something so that when I'm doing process videos, it shows up a little bit better. But yeah, so here I go, keep those going. And you can tell I didn't cut straight because I'm going to cut a few times here. It's amazing when you watch yourself, all the little things that you do. So yeah, so I think that just sort of brings some balance to the bright, bold look of the photo. So this is mostly going to stay like this. One of the things I like to do is if I absolutely know my cluster is going to stay, so usually this applies when where you have your picture, like I know the layers I've got, the little embellishments that I'm going to stick right to the photo or right behind it are going to stay, I will go ahead and I will glue them together, sort of making like a block cluster that I can pick up and move around as is. I don't have to keep rearranging it and tucking the flower and all that good stuff. So that's just all I'm doing here is I'm just gluing this piece all together. I'm not gluing it to the page per se. Actually not at all yet. That would be by accident. Yeah, just trying to make it so I can move it around as a single chunk, if that makes sense. So a few layers here to play with. And I do tend to turn my page. Do you guys do that? Like if I'm gluing on the other side, I don't know. I don't feel like I've always done that. I've just really noticed, I guess, as I've started to make more process videos and voiceover, but yeah, anyway. So I've decided that I need a little touch more black in the page, and I know that's hilarious because you can see how dark navy the background is, but just a little texture. It needed something. So what I did is I took kind of a trick that I learned by accident, but I really, really love it. I'm sure other people did this on purpose, is I have the Nuvo crystal drops. I have them in black, and I think it is legitimately called black crystal ebony black. And what I do is I put them on a little piece of plastic like that. I add a bit of water to them, and then you can treat them. They end up like a little less thick than than when they come out of the bottle, like the Nouveau comes out of the bottle, more like a not really watered down acrylic. And then you can use them to splatter, or in that case I added even more water and just let them drip off the package. So I got some really sort of big messy black, splotches on there, if you will. When you do add water to the Nouveau, it gives it a bit of a milky color, but don't be afraid. Every color I've used and done this with, after I've added water and then used my paintbrush to splatter, they dry true to the original color of the Nouveau. So don't be worried, you're not going to get like this milky color on your page. Okay, so here I am just using my Project Life Sharpie, because I wanted it really dark, my Sharpie journaling pen there, and I'm just doing some freehand lines down the side of the page. Sort of think of it like journal stitching. Like I don't want to pull out my sewing machine and stitch, so I'm going to just make a really messy lines down the side with my pen. I had to be pretty careful because I didn't wait for things to dry, but I didn't screw it up. So after that was done, I walked away for a few minutes, and then I've come back in. Now my Nouveau is dried, and I can start to play with layering things up here. So. And this is looking pretty close to what it's going to end up looking like. Again, just grabbing a couple more things. I did recently order from Rosie's Studio these amazing alphas, phrases, I don't know what you would call that, words, and they're a fairly thin foam phrase, like almost like a thickers. They have a slight shimmer to them, like almost like there's a little bit of iridescent kind of sparkle on top. They are so great, and they're just, oh my gosh, I just love the font that it's used. So while it's hard to kind of show here in the stills, it shows a lot more because I really turned up the brightness and got both my studio lamps on when I was doing my photographs. But what I've done there is I've just cut out you and me, and for the and it's an ampersand. So I just find that is really, I don't know, it just looks really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and put the lettering off to the side. I'm going to do it down the bottom, and then I'm just taking a look here where I want this. And I did put my Soulmates on to put my kind of photo cluster down, went to go put it down, and I realized I had only intended to do the Nouveau black kind of splatter behind the Heart and Circles cut file, but I realized like it would look good all the way across the page. So I'm just going to go back and really quick and do that. You can see I just put a sploosh of the Nouveau, added a little bit of water. This time I'm doing it directly on my self-protecting mat, and then I've just gone in and like you would a normal splatter, and then it dries with a bit of texture and quite a bit of shine. So just adding a bit more there, and I do think that kind of makes it show up a little bit more. I don't want to cover the whole page. I kind of want it focused behind the cut file, and then just a little bit off into that open space on the left hand side. I just don't want it to look like it doesn't match. So here I am now. Okay, so my Nouveau has dried. Get myself organized. I'm getting excited because I can see it starting to come together, even though I just did this page, but it's fun to watch. So this is what I'm going to do. It's going to sit on kind of pretty much as you saw it, and then I have not glued down my cut file. I have put Sukwang or score pal tape, whatever it's called, behind my photos, so just a couple of strips, and then I've peeled the back and I've stuck those down. So ultimately my cut file is anchored. So I don't need to worry about it going anywhere. I can go back behind and, kind of fussy cut a few spots, but the lines on this cut file are super thin, and I didn't want to get into like attempting to glue it and then making a mess. So I'm just going to anchor it first, and then I can just find a few more spots to kind of tack it further down. So I am putting the you and me, and again, this shows up a little bit more in the stills at the end. I did want it dark, like I didn't want this white font. I don't know, I just really wanted this kind of dark rustic look for some reason. And so I've put that right along the bottom of the photo. It partially overlaps the bottom of the photo. I hate when stickers go over people's faces, so it kind of comes up to the chest a little bit, but I think it works. So a little bit on the photo, a little bit off the photo. And then I've pulled out as well, cut from the alphas there from Rosie Studio, the XOXO, which is how my husband and I, end texts and say goodnight and all that good stuff when we're out of town or something. So that just seems super fitting. And when I want to play with where alphas could go, I cut the sheet. So you can see the alphas or the words to the side there. I literally just fussy cut around them. So the sticky part of the word is still on its original plastic sheet. Then you can move it around all around your page and then peel it off after and stick it down. So that does leave me with kind of a jagged plastic sheet left over that I put back in the packaging. But I just trim around the jagged bits and put it in, and I find it just super helpful. I do, as you can see already, I do move things around quite a bit. So I think it's helpful. So then here I am just auditioning a couple more things. So you probably saw earlier that I did keep, when I peeled the cut file off of the silhouette mat that I use a Silhouette Cameo 3. I did keep some of the negatives of the little hearts and the big hearts. And you saw I used those big hearts to put and cover where I had back those cut files. And then I also kept the little baby ones that look the most like a heart shape still. And I'm just going to bring a few of them back into the page. So some of the hearts, the heart in circles from the original cut file will be kind of see-through, and then some of them that I bring back in that were cut from the negative will kind of fill up a few other places and they'll be solid, and I just kind of like that little mix. I did take the time to pop them up on little tiny pieces of foam tape. Totally worth it because I like the dimensions. So, and you can see there I'm just adding a little bit more glue in a couple of sections to just tack back down the cut file so that it stays where it is. Just giving that a little bit of a hold while it dries. I do use Scotch Quick Dry in a fine line bottle there that you can see. I really like it. I find there's a little bit of movement before it dries, so which also means that if you really want something to stick where it is, just kind of keep your finger in place, or give it a minute before you start playing with the page. So tacking down a few more places. I definitely don't I don't worry that everything is like absolutely stuck down on a page. I think that, I stick it down so that if I like that, hold it up, it's going to stay. And, I just kind of think it's going to go in a page projector, so it's going to kind of keep it. So I don't overthink gluing too much. Have I gone back through my albums and there's like, sequins at the bottom or alphas? Yes. So each to their own. So fantastically, what's also included in this alpha from Rosie Studios is little solid hearts and little kind of outline hearts as well. So kind of really aligns well with this cut file, which made me really happy. So I'm just going to confetti a few of those around as well. So that's kind of me. You can see I'm thinking. And so I went and grabbed my black matte enamel dots. So these, I've already got black splatters in the background, but these are going to be matte, and my black splatters have a little bit of a shine, and these ones have a little bit more dimension. So I think it's just kind of fun to add a little bit more texture to the page. And I'm just going to bring them in a few places, and I think I end up putting them in 3 different little sections. So, and you'll see that a little bit more when you look at the stills at the end. So that's mostly me. One final touch, which is often how I do finish a page, especially a dark page, is I'm just going to grab some cheap white acrylic, literally like $1.97 at Walmart here in Canada, and add a little bit of water, and I use a very, very, very tiny, tiny, tiny brush. You can barely see the bristles on it in the camera there, and I'm just going to make the tiniest little amount of splatters. So that is me. Yeah, had a lot of fun playing with this cut file. Again, it's called Heart in Circles, and it's from Peartree Cutfiles, brand new cut file shop. Really excited to see all that Marie is making. It's just going to be really fantastic to watch. So I will include links below. You've got to check out what she's got. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you are having a wonderful and crafty day.